Things had been tough for my mom and I, ever since my dad left us 2 years ago. At least I was old enough to get myself to and from school, and I knew my way around a microwave. But I wasn't old enough to get a job, and the bills were piling up. My mom decided to get a second job. A night job. Maybe part-time and not something to brag about, but it would keep our heads above water. I remember the first night like it was yesterday. My mom apologizing up and down for having to leave me alone. I told her I'd be fine, and honestly, I was pretty excited. She wouldn't be home until late, and that meant I could stay up late. There was a monster movie marathon on, so who would complain? It was just around 9:30, and I was right in the thick of some Japanese gore fest, when I swore I heard something outside. Maybe it was my mind playing tricks on me. Maybe the movie got to me. Either way, I had to check it out. I hesitantly peered out of the living room window, looking to the left, then the right, and nothing. Then I noticed, directly across the way, a man standing in his window, just staring. I couldn't really tell what he was staring at, but it freaked me out anyway. I stood at the window for at least a minute, as long as my heart could bear it, and he didn't move. That was it for me that night. I was done with the monster flicks, done with the freaky dude in the window, and tried to fall asleep. The next morning, I told my mom about the man. First, she was upset I was up so late, and then she asked if I'd been watching scary movies. Needless to say, I got the "it was all in my imagination" thing, and that was that. That night, after my mom left, I didn't feel comfortable alone. It was like that feeling of someone watching you. And just after 9 again, I swear I heard something. It was just like the last time, except there was no horror movie marathon. Against what my brain was screaming at me, I pulled myself again to the window. There he was. The man, just staring out of his window. This time, I darted away as quick as I could and ran to my room. It was so weird. It got the hair on my neck standing on end. The next morning I told my mom, but she just brushed it off, saying he was probably just a nervous old man, and it had nothing to do with me. I wasn't so sure, but what could I do? My mom left for work that night, even though I begged her to stay. I tried to take my mind off the man. I watched TV. I played music. I even did all of my homework. But still, I wondered if he was out there, staring from his window at me or God knows what. My curiosity got the better of me, and I made my way to the window. My fear was realized in that moment, because there he was, the man in the window, just staring. I tried to keep my presence a secret, and see just how long he would stand there. My heart felt like it was going to leap out of my chest, but I stayed there at the window, in some sort of weird staring contest. Then it happened. He moved away from the window, and I breathed a sigh of relief. My mom was right. I was worried about nothing. Suddenly, his front door opened, and my comfort changed to dread in an instant. I watched from my window, trying my best not to be seen, watching him walk down his driveway, then across the street, then up my driveway. I choked in fear and ran for the telephone. I dialed 911 and waited, my heart jackhammering 1,000,000 miles an hour. Finally, an answer. I explained to the lady that I thought someone was trying to break in my house, and she said help would be on the way and asked for my address. I managed to get out the first 3 numbers when I was grabbed from behind. I dropped the phone and felt these dirty, greasy hands wrap themselves around me. I screamed as loud as I could and shook myself, trying to break free, but I was lifted from the ground. I could feel the hot breath on my neck, smell the stale, rotten stench of my attacker. I couldn't help but start crying, screaming my lungs out for my mom, for anyone, for help. Then there was a thud, and I was falling with the man towards the floor. We hit, and his grip loosened. I rolled away and scrambled behind the couch. Then I heard a voice say, "It's okay. You're safe now." I looked up, shaking and bewildered. There were 2 men, one on the floor who wasn't moving, and another standing there with a baseball bat. "You're okay," he said again. "I'm your neighbor from across the way." My jaw dropped in confusion. "I'd noticed a strange man lurking around your house every night for the last few days, and was concerned you might be in danger. I noticed your mom leaving and knew you were here all by yourself." The police arrived shortly afterwards, and between our 2 stories, the mysterious assailant was taken into custody. I thanked my neighbor as much as I could, and from that day, I always felt safer when I looked outside and saw the man in the window across from me.